Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
A model U.S. ambassador to be Caroline Kennedy Lauds Australia's China stance by Farah Tormazine updated April 8, 2022, 1.48 first published at 7.54 am. Save login, register or subscribe to save articles for later. Share normal text size, larger text size, very large text size 9. View all comments. Washington, Australia is a model for the United States on how to respond to the ongoing challenge of economic coercion from China, according to Caroline Kennedy, President Joe Biden's pick to head the U.S. Embassy in Canberra. 4 months after being announced as Biden's nominee to become the new U.S. ambassador to Australia, the daughter of one of America's most loved political couples has spoken out for the first time about her potential new role, which she acknowledged comes at a tense time in the Indo-Pacific. Caroline Kennedy at her Senate Foreign Relations Committee confirmation hearing in Washington on Thursday. Credit Bloomberg testifying at her confirmation hearing in Washington on Friday, 8, Kennedy said the changing dynamics in the region, evolving security tensions, and the demands on trade and commerce had made the relationship between the two countries all the more important. She said the groundbreaking AUKUS agreement, a military pact announced last year to help Australia acquire nuclear-powered submarines, and the so-called Quad strategic dialogue between Australia, the US, Japan and India also provided important opportunities to strengthen ties. I think the Quad is one of the most important initiatives that we have, and a great opportunity for the United States and other like-minded democracies to really work together on key issues like climate change, like supply chain resilience and security, said the daughter of former President John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Onassis. Then U.S. President John F. Kennedy and his daughter, Caroline, sailing in 1962. Credit AP. During questioning by the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Kennedy was also asked for her views about the ongoing threat of China, with Republicans and Democrats jointly praising Australia for standing up to Beijing. Republican Senator Mitt Romney noted he was impressed by the backbone Australia had shown on a number of fronts, including its recent diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics over human rights abuses, and its decision to ban smartphone maker Huawei from providing technology for its 5G network. Democrat Senator Chris Murphy also pointed to the diplomatic spat in April 2020, when a Communist Party media editor described Australia as chewing gum stuck on the sole of China's shoes after Australia called for an inquiry into the origins of coronavirus. Asked if China's growing aggression was something she had witnessed in her previous role as U.S. ambassador to Japan, Kennedy replied, "I did see it, but I think it's become so much more widespread. Certainly Australia most recently has been challenged by Chinese economic coercion, and I think the United States can learn a lot from their response," she said. "They've stood firm and I think they've managed to come together with a bipartisan foreign policy and a greater and deeper partnership with us in the security and diplomatic areas, as well as across the board." Later, she added, "I think that pushing back on China's economic coercion is something that United States is going to have to support our allies on. Australia has been a model, but this is a complicated issue, and the United States and Australia, I think, are working together across all aspects of the relationship." Likely to be confirmed, Kennedy's posting will be the latest milestone in a life underscored by privilege, public service and personal tragedy. She was almost 6 years old when JFK was assassinated in Dallas in 1963. 5 years later, her uncle, Bobby Kennedy, was also assassinated while campaigning for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination. After studying at exclusive private schools in New York and Massachusetts, the young Caroline worked as an intern at the New York Daily News and in the office of her uncle, Senator Ted Kennedy. She also worked as a research assistant at New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art, where she met her husband Edwin Schlossberg. The pair spent their honeymoon in Australia and returned in 2014, she told the hearing. "I'm humbled by this opportunity," she said. Kennedy's appointment would come at a critical juncture for the US-Australian alliance. In the latest sign of China's aggression, The Solomon Islands last week initialed a security deal with Beijing that will pave the way for China to take its first major stake in the Pacific and test Australia's century-long influence over the region. The Solomon Islands, the scene of fierce fighting between Japanese and US forces during World War II, is also where Caroline's father was rescued with the help of an